Alright, welcome to my first video on exponents. So, what are exponents? Exponents are short form for repeated multiplication of the same thing by itself. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, if we have an exponent of 5 to the power of 3, that's the same thing as writing 5 times 5 times 5. The answer will be 125. Let's break down what an exponent is and the different attributes. So here, the 5 and the 3. So the 5 is called the base, and the 3 is called the exponent. Alright, so what the exponent does is it tells you the number of times you multiply your base. So in this example, the 3 tells you to multiply 5 by itself 3 times. Like I did before, 5 times 5 times 5. Here, in this chart, it will clearly show you what I'm talking about. This is our chart. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so this will be our exponent form column. This will be our factor form column. And this will be our standard or answer form column. I should have just done an equal sign here. Okay, so let's put out some numbers. So we'll do 3 to the power of 2. In factor form, this would be 3 times 3, and the answer would be 9. Let's do a negative exponent. So we'll do 4 times negative 3. This is the same as going negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Alright, so a negative times a negative, positive. So this will be positive 16. And then a negative times a positive is a negative. So positive 16 times negative 4 would give us negative 64. And we'll do one more. Let's make it a positive exponent. 5, I did 5 again. 6 to the power of, let's do 4. So 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is 216. 216 times 6 is 1,296. That was a big one. 1,296. Alright, let's go more into depth. And let's go into powers of 0, bases of 0, and more negative exponents. So let's start with the easy one. Powers and bases of 0. So we'll do powers of 0 up here. So let's say we have 6 to the power of 0 What is that? What is that? So technically, this is the same as saying 6 times nothing. What would that equal? 1. That would equal 1. So whenever you have a zero exponent, always, when you have a zero exponent, your answer will be 1. When you have a zero base, this is key. When you have a zero base, you have to try not mixing these two up. When you have a zero base, your answer will be 0. Because this is the same thing as writing out 0 times 0 times 0 6 times. And 0 times 0 is 0. So yeah, that's 0 base and 0 exponent. And then more into depth into negative exponents. So when you have a negative exponent, what do you have? So when your exponent is negative, let's go negative 3, and it's an odd number. So 3, 6, 9, 12, so on. No, not 12, sorry. 3, 5, 7, 9, those type of numbers, odd numbers. They would always end up in giving you a negative answer. Odd numbers will give you a negative answer. On the other hand, even negative numbers will end up giving you a positive answer. Let me show you what I mean. So if we have 2 to the power of negative 6, that's an even number, so this must give us a positive number, right? So it would be negative 2 times 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 negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2, negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 2, positive 16. Positive 16 times negative 2 is equal to positive negative 32. Negative 32 times negative 2 is equal to positive 64. You see that? Our exponent was an even number, gave us a positive answer. And now I'll show you our exponent with an even number. It will end up giving us a negative answer. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2, negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 2. What is that? Negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Positive 16 times negative 2 is negative 32. See the difference? Whenever you have an odd exponent, you have a negative number. When you have an even exponent, you have a positive number. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you.